90% of my shoot is in mud. Under the rain at 3 a.m.
I always feel very lucky because I feel like I'm always inside. I'm not working at night. Sorry. I feel very spoiled. And then, yes,
a chiropractor on set.
Promise me, Elrond. You will not stop until he is destroyed.
I'd like to go through everybody and just get a sense of where your character was at the beginning of where your character is at the beginning of season 2. Morfydd, we'll start with you. Where's Galadriel at the beginning of season 2?
So we find Galadriel kind of having been proved right in the worst possible way, and she's been deceived by the great deceiver, which I think must be, he's pretty good at that. So we can't be too cruel to her. But yeah, she's got to redeem herself.
Got to redeem herself. The great deceiver sitting right behind
yes.
you.
Yes.
And Cynthia, where do we find Muriel?
So Muriel at the beginning of season 2, she's really starting from a place of loss. She has lost her vision at the end of season 1. She has lost her father, the king, and she has lost a battle. And in turn, there are many Númenórean losses, thanks to this one. She told me to do it. And so really season 2 for Muriel is going to be about navigating and overcoming these losses, but also trying to convince the people in Númenórean society that she is the one to lead them in the right direction. And there is a great divide in Númenor, in Middle-earth, really. And so it's really going to be about Muriel overcoming the odds and stepping into her greatness, I think.
Right. Ismael, where's Arondir at the beginning of season 2?
Well, Arondir, in the beginning of season 2, we find him at a great crossroad. There's a pivot that his circumstances have obligated him to face. And I think it's there's loss, there's fear, and also there's a deeper darkness within himself. And I think there's also a struggle between his humanness and his elvenness, even though he is fully elf. But he's very, very, very keen of humans, and it's what kind of path does he follow, and what is his vendetta? I have to go around where you find him to protect the storyline a little bit, but that's it.
Charles, where's Celebrimbor at the beginning of season 2?
So we left him at the end of season 1. The 3 Elven rings are done. So he's waiting to hear how that's gone. But he feels sort of quite abandoned because he hasn't had any. All he's had from Galadriel was that we must not treat with this man anymore. Nothing about Sauron, nothing about any of that. So, but when he first meets Halbrand in the forge at the end of season 1, that's when Sauron's spell has been cast. So we're waiting to see how that web is going to be, how he's going to be trapped in that web, which we will see.
Sophia, how's Disa doing in the beginning of season 2?
End of season 1, she, she makes a promise, I guess. The Mithril is ours. And so we really start to see that ambitious drive when everything's been stripped from Prince Durin. And of course, the relationship between Prince Durin and the king is very fractured. So opening season 2, they kind of have nothing, but she is keeping optimistic and strong as Disa does. But with that, the kind of the existential crisis of Khazad-dûm is looming over her. You know, the kingdom is in trouble. It's a real matter of life and death. And so she is pulling out all the stops in whichever way possible to make sure that the kingdom survives. And, the rings are here and they provide solution, but they also come with lots of problems, particularly when she meets these two.
So Charlie, your character is named Sauron, but he also goes by several different names. So, like, what is his name at the beginning of season 2? Would you say?
Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
I think at the start of season 2, he's, for all intents and purposes, he is Halbrand. So we leave him at the end of season 1, walking down a cliff into Mordor, and he starts season 2 with nothing. He's he's lost his friend, his only friend. Oh, I know.
Well,
he's got
he deserved
no
that.
He's got absolutely nothing, but he still has an idea, and he has just come from meeting Celebrimbor, the greatest of elven smiths, for the first time, a huge celeb, and he wants to go back there. So he has to hatch a plan to get back to Eregion and get back in and try and get this idea happening. Yeah.
So you guys shot season 2 in London, and a lot of your storylines are sort of off on their own paths, while they, and not a lot of interaction. So I'm wondering, as actors, what is the level of interactivity that you get to have with each other while you're making the show?
Well, it's very different in London than it was in New Zealand, and entirely worlds apart, literally, but under entirely different circumstances because of many of us came to New Zealand from all over the world to film it. And when you're filming something like that, a long way away from home, you spend all your time, or a lot of your time, with your castmates.
Particularly as it was the first, so it's that establishing,
Yeah.
getting to know each other.
And there was the COVID hiatus.
Yeah.
In London, it's different for all of us, but speaking for myself, you go to work and then you go home. So you see, but the grounding that was created during that first season for the cast has been absolutely invaluable.
It's moments like this, we come together.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, we could be, in terms of the dynamic between us, we could be back in New Zealand. Because it is, many of us are at home, myself as well, when we're shooting in London. And so it is kind of work home and we're with the people that we share scenes with. But, it's not often we look forward to these moments where we can come together and we just pick up where we left off. And that is for the foundation that we built in New Zealand. So, we're grateful for that, I hope.
We get to sneak onto each other's sets, which is fun.
We're not really allowed to do it.
No, so that makes it extra special.
That's why you sneak. That's why you sneak.
Undercover.
It's one of my favorite things to do, to be found in someone else's set by the producers. What are they doing here?
My first set sneak, we were on the iced wall. That was my very first set sneak in New Zealand. I thought,
I'm honoured.
So in that vein, what would you say was like the most impressive set for season 2? Like when you watch and you're like, oh my goodness, this is incredible.
You're spoiled for choice, huh?
Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And also each of us will have a different answer because we're all on different sets.
We're pretty limited. Charlie and I were basically in one set the whole season.
It's a great set.
It's an incredible set, but it felt like we were doing a play because it was just the two of us in a room.
Yeah, in this
8
huge
months.
cathedral-like forge.
It's incredible.
Which, when they need to move the cameras in, that you could move a bit of the wall away, get the camera in, put the wall back, so you feel like you're in a room.
You guys were in Windsor Great Park a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, we were in the woods in the middle of winter. Which was, we were having quite a different experience.
Very varied experience.
Same.
Wonderful to feel at one with nature.
Yeah, 90% of my shoot is in mud, under the rain at 3 a.m. in the show. Like rarely in a set, but because I did sneak into a lot of sets, I would say, their set and Numenor are just breathtaking.
Well, Numenor has always had the really lush deluxe set. I always feel very lucky because I feel like I'm always inside. I'm not working at night. Sorry. I feel very spoiled. And then, yes,
a chiropractor on set.
We also have incredible locations as well. So for Numenor this season, we got to go to Tenerife in the Canary Islands. So we had a bit of coastal Mediterranean deluxe vibes. I'm so sorry, guys.
She's not sorry. She's not sorry at all.
We're a little bit out of time, but the last question I want to ask you that we've been asking everybody who's coming in here is, what is on your watch list? What are you watching right now?
Shogun for me. Shogun is just, and ironically, Charlotte Brandstrom, one of our directors, directed an episode of that. I love where we're at technologically speaking, just with visuals, what streaming and television has the capability to do, and some of these really expansive stories, to see the ability to bring, whether it's historical or fantasy, to really honor the scale of it. I'm incredibly impressed with that series, so that high recommend if none of you have seen it.
The Jinx, Part 2.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm watching Goliath
Oh,
on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I just watched Monkey Man, Dev Patel's kind
Yeah.
of directorial debut, which she also wrote and starred in, and I think it's one of the most wonderful films I've seen forever, and just kind of what it's exploring within that genre. And yes, recommend for everyone to watch it. And I also just love that Dev Patel's, so much of the stuff he's done is got a mother loving her son at the beginning. And I think that's something really beautiful about the stuff he's chosen to do. So,
I'm doing a Studio Ghibli retrospect. I've been kind of just watching everything. I love animation, and I love that genre. And I think when I'm shooting, I gravitate towards that. It makes me like make more sense of the world, I feel, and like activates a little bit of that sense of wonder that you need when you're shooting, especially I'm like locked into gritty stories for in my career. But yeah, Hayao Miyazaki.
I just watched the first couple of seasons of Line of Duty on BBC.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Blast from the Past.
Yeah, lovely.
Of English crime drama. So that's what I've been watching.
good?
Yeah. It's great.
it's so good.
First season is particularly
cool.
good.
Yeah, it is.
Goliath is crime drama.
Great.
On Amazon Prime.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in. Have a great the rest of your Comic-Con.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.